Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. In the blue, the final boss. It's Dark. Up against the best player from the United States of America, the Battle Mage, Astrea. A best of 3 Protoss versus Zerg showdown. Astrea's meticulous micro against Dark's barely restrained chaos. And before we get started, if you could help me sow a little chaos with the almighty algorithm myself, by smashing that like button, and maybe even subscribing. And Jimmy, what are we? No, you can't say cringe. We're too old. 1,433 likes on this video on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Starting things off, well, Dark off to a 1-0 victory against Light. A strong start for the man himself. So I'm not sure we're going to put that one on the board, but even knocking the observers out of the game, I'll do my best to stay with it. But the 2 Adepts chased by the early Zerglings. The rush distance so short on this map, whether it's Adepts shading across the map pretty much from your own base into the Zerg's third, or the Queen's taking a quick stroll across the map, and even for them, it's not a particularly long way to the third base here on Ghost River. So, Zerglings will absolutely murder a probe. But is it murder if it's a probe? Or even a Protoss in general? Philosophical questions. But Void Ray looking for Overlords, but the Overlord already snuck away to the north side. Now will be used to zone out the Zerglings. Oracle will follow it up, so the Void Ray was mostly just for denying scouting, but I feel like Dark has already gotten the information. Astrea a little bit later on that expansion. Not late. 4 minutes is still very early on. But the Void Ray now just going to be annoying at the edge of the creep, and the Queens are going to politely yet firmly ask it to leave, and the Void Ray does not stack up very well against him. Oracle a little bit better in that regard. Oracle's main weakness is not being able to kill Overlords, but that Void Ray so far also has not been able to kill Overlords, so really, at the end of the day, was it worth it? Well, Adepts jam themselves into the minerals. The Zerglings trying to get up close and personal. Adepts are able to shade away. 2 drones dead. Roach Warren on the way, and a very quick lair behind. Anything before 5 minutes is on the quicker side of things. And he's going to have it done momentarily. Not a complete and utter rush, but I would not be the least bit surprised. Yes, that makes sense. To see a Nidus network momentarily. Now, more gases on the way. Roach Warren, of course, is the springboard for a lot of early and late and mid-game aggression. Though 2 out of 3 is more accurate. Forge on the way, and Blink behind. Astrea with a pretty cookie-cutter standard follow-up. Though the Blink is significantly quicker than the Forge, so he wants to get a lot of units out quickly. Already has 4 gates up, so he will have the unit count to match any sort of moderate aggression out of Dark. And it isn't a Nidus network, but instead, Evolution Chamber, 2 more gases on the way. And Dark already up to 60 drones. But Astrea going to put some pressure on with the Blink Stalkers. And if you're unprepared, even if you have plenty of Zerglings and some Roaches, without Roach speed, without any upgrades, those Blink Stalkers can add up the damage very quickly. But Dark is very aware. Astrea is not slouchy on probes behind. This isn't some sort of all-in timing. He's just trying to keep the pressure on the creep, but there's really no way to detect it at the moment besides that 1 Oracle. Yeah, no robotics facility, no revelation on the creep to pick off the edges, and now both players were flirting with the idea, but they decided not to commit at the 6-minute mark, get to know each other a little better before laying into one another, if you would. Baneling Nest on the way, and of comparable yet very different quality, the Templar Archives for Astrea. Archons and Storm, very helpful against, well, just gestures wildly at Zerg. But the Banelings also a great tool for breaking through pretty much anything Protoss has to offer. Combined with Ravagers and Corrosive Bile, you can break through any force fields and static defenses with ease. The units themselves are actually a little harder to break, but there are only so many of them, and Dark is more than happy to test it. A single Oracle at the back, but that is a lot of roaches. Those Zealots! Oh, wow. Almost as sad as the Queens off a creep. Which, yeah, blinks up. The Zealots will bravely stand against the roaches, but Dark just cleaves through them. The Queens. Susan, come back here! I just wanted to taste them. Susan, why are you so weird? Don't judge me, Brenda. It's been a long year. Sorry. I know. The roaches chasing down Dark up 50 supply, but Blink Stalkers are about as good as you're going to get against the mass roach composition, barring Immortals. She doesn't have yet. Shield battery overcharge on the low ground. Another battery on the high ground as well. That one's almost impossible to take out with the roaches and Ravagers without vision. Immortals on the way. Targets down the shield battery. Astrea being battered right now. Tries an Archon. Doesn't come through. Dead on arrival. Before arrival, the Void Ray finally gets to participate in the group activity, but the robotics facility does not. It's taken out by the roaches, and Dark just bought himself another few minutes of roaches being incredibly effective. If the immortal count starts building up, the roaches become less and less viable. And what is okay, all right. There was something happening there, and I'm not exactly sure what, but the Stalker's able to get away. Zealot. Charge is done. Tries to charge in very bravely, like so many times you see in the campaign. Yeah, come here. Come here. Let me have a taste. Susan! Stop it! I don't... Corrosive Bile's raining down on the mineral line, and Astrea just doesn't have the unit count to stem the tide of roaches that is rolling across the map. Storms rain down, and the Ravagers badly bruised. Corrosive Bile dodges out of the way. Prismatic alignment is back up. Astrea just perpetually with a few less units than he needs. And he's looking like he'll have a bit of a problem here. But when you look into the workers tab, 78, he's building 4 probes and a Void Ray. What is this, 4v4 in North America? I don't know. Well, you see, this is why. If your friend jumps off the creep, would you? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't. Astrea will plummet to a 6-drone lead, as the American certainly knows the strength of a booming economy, even if his military spending right now is surprisingly low. But Astrea's on 4 base. He hasn't invested much in upgrades. He's just incrementing out Void Rays. He's gone for double Robo. There's 19 Banelings with speed already on the way. Now, the Banelings on the way. Speed is already done. Melee attack level 2. Dark at 69 drones. A solid baseline economy, but Astrea continues to have a better one. He just doesn't have the unit count right now. And the Banelings, well, they'll split between the 3rd and the natural. The Zealot, no! He charged forward! Oh, this isn't the Legacy of the Void cinematic! Oh, no! And then the Banelings get in. They still would have gotten in, but the Zealot just kind of opened the door for him. 13 probes down, and finally Astrea takes something of a hit, as Dark, with that Baneling roll-by, is able to clearly take an advantage in the income tab for the first time. The creep spread, surprisingly dense, considering how small the map is and how it's not even that far across it. He's laid down 70 creep tumors, and they're all within a relatively concentrated area. Roaches heading up north. The Robo's conspicuously idle. Astrea fixes that now. He just started the +2 Protoss ground weapons. But Dark, opening up more opportunities. There's only so many attack paths on this map. There's only so many bases to work with. Dark has already taken his entire half of the map. He's running through the side blades of the Zealots, who are now intimidated by such a power move, and will show their backs in a cowardly fashion. Observer spawns the north side. 5 cannons on the way as Astrea trying to bolster his defenses. He still has 2 Void Rays overhead, but I don't think Dark cares too much. He doesn't have any anti-air. He's just gonna ignore them, which, that's on brand. There is a stasis, triggers it with a single Zergling. That Zergling may be the only unit to survive this assault. He's one zealot, slicing apart several drones. But Dark, does he have a hive? No, no infestation pit, no hive. He's still on Ravager Ling Bane. Well, and hold the Ravagers. It's just roaches and banelings. But there's so many Templar already. Another wave of banelings. 22 of them in production. He's still got money in the bank. Several of them canceled or destroyed before they finish morphing. And the Queens, we've arrived! And the Queens are working, and he finally found some anti-air for the Void Rays. Oh no, he moved the Templar out of position at the 4th base, and more banelings are gonna roll in. The Zealots are chasing down Queens. Templar zoning out more roaches. Both sides converging in the center. Queen's being taken out, but Astrea finds himself backed up against a rock and a hard place. Archons, helpful, but Dark just has so many units, he continues to overrun the field. More Templar, but the storms don't kill the roaches fast enough. And those autumn-colored roaches will grind through yet another Archon after the Templar exhaust all their energy. The Oracle comes back around, and Astrea falling into his very common, predictable, yet almost unavoidable trap of building the right unit composition, having a great economy, doing very solid micro with the units he has, and just not having enough of them. He's so focused on the economy, he hasn't been able to put enough on the field, and these Immortals are a day late and several $100s short. The Immortals will be taken out. The Archons easily thinned out. The Void Rays are also here, trying to participate. Oracle dodges out of the Corrosive Biles, but... And Astrea still has 78 probes, and he's still not dead. His economy is so good. He's got 10 gates, double robo. He has these Void Rays. And Dark is just... He's doing an offensive spore push. He's got his little spore shrubbery here. And, well, the Queens were taken out. At least the more forward ones. So the Spore Crawlers come in for some basic anti-air, just giving Dark any sort of token anti-air to make it harder for the Void Rays to just chip away at these units. But Astrea just cannot field enough units to deal with Dark Swarm. Corrosive Biles again. There goes the 3rd Nexus. Another wave. The Storms just ripping through, but Corrosive Biles knock out some more Archons. And somehow Astrea survives. But now he's taking the hits. He's no longer mining from the 3rd. The 4th base is cut off. Astrea's done an incredible job of not dying, but that doesn't mean he's anywhere close to turning it around. Losing that first robo and underestimating the roaches early was a fatal mistake. And Dark just kind of rolls over him. Alright, well. It's rough to see for Astrea. Like, he has the control. He has the unit composition. Theoretically, he has one of the best Protoss armies. But you don't play this game on tabletop, contrary to YouTube comments' belief. So, Dark off to a comfortable 1-0 lead. I'm hopeful, but not particularly optimistic Astrea has something up his sleeve to turn it around. When I've seen him have the most success, it's if he survives just a little bit, if he gets that robo up with some Immortals out, it becomes an order of magnitude more difficult to deal with what Astrea has on the ground. The Void Ray was a little sad, I will say. Void Rays nowadays, that's kind of their lot in life. We've all been there. All right. We used to be the stars of the show. All right. The stars of the craft. Blizzard said, we're going to buff the Void Ray, make it stronger, make it better, make it harder, make it faster. Some of those were quite literal. And then peace out. That's the end of development. If you remember the fateful 2020 patch, quite a year, where the Void Ray was buffed to essentially replace it was like a Phoenix but better. Built in a similar amount of time, barely cost any more money. And, well, nowadays, it costs more, takes longer to build. It costs 4 supply, is a big part of it as well. You can only build 2 before having to construct an additional pylon. And that is possibly the most difficult thing. Almost like it has its own, what is it in Warcraft 3? Well, upkeep. Kind of feels that way when you're going for any sort of heavy Robo-Stargate composition. Dark. Another thing is Astrea not sending the probe out early enough to block the Natchery. Dark, of course, got his base very quickly, but many Protoss players will send that first probe immediately for maximum annoyance. Which I assume is pretty much every successful Protoss's mindset. It certainly is on the ladder, and that's why people hate Protoss. I'm 1/3 Protoss myself. It's alright, I can say that. Some of my best friends are Protoss. For now. Oracle on the way first. Not tried the Void Ray. I wonder if there was any sort of follow-up strat he was looking for that just never came to fruition. It was a quick blink timing. Not all in, but heavy blink pressure, but Dark just had enough units. Astrea snipes off the creep tumor before it can get started. Oracle's out. And making me a little dizzy. Really probe. Jams the probe in with a mineral walk. Oracle comes around. Don't talk to me or my probes ever again. Oracle's... Is that a Phoenix? Yeah. He still wants to kill the Overlords, but the Void Ray may have been a bridge too far. A single Phoenix can find a lot of value. Oh, the Oracles also, but slices through a couple drones. There is a Spore in the main, and the Queens closing in from both sides. Almost able to sneak a pick off. A dozen drones on the way for Dark, who starts off his lair. He's gonna spot the 2 gases at the natural, and how they've already started and been comfortably mining. And that means very likely to be a heavy tech like Blink and +1. And now we can see on the production tab, Twilight Council, and, you know, on the screen as well, if you're paying attention there. Like and subscribe. Now that'll be attention off this. Moving on. But Twilight and Forge on the way. So Dark should be aware of it. Interestingly, no Roach One. Not even bothering with. Gonna be skipping, I think, to Hydras? Or some... He's going for ranged attack, so he's not doing just a crazy Nidus. And probably not a Spire, so I think this is a Hydra Rush. Designed to almost hard counter that Blink Stalker timing. Especially something like Astrea tried last game. Hydras, their major weakness is not so much that they're bad, it's that they're expensive. Getting to Hydras and having any of the upgrades, ideally both, range and speed, is incredibly important. And that takes the Hydra Den, building those upgrades. It's already an investment of several hundred gas and minerals before you even get any value out of... Get off my creep! Brenda, are you okay? I haven't been okay since the war. Oh, okay. I said not okay. All right. Good luck. Have fun. Sorry. The Zergling's trying to get in at the natural. But just looking around, having a taste and trying to figure out whether there's any weak points. But Astrea headed straight towards that. Oh, both players, 69 workers apiece. A nice macro start. And now building up. Well, Dark actually a bit supply, but he built like 8 overlords. Meanwhile, Astrea has decided this is the timing. It's gonna be a... He actually skipped Blink and went for charge. So, with Hydras, and now there's the Roach Warren on the way. I think he got it alongside. While I was pontificating about the Hydras, he just decided to go Roach Hydra instead. As opposed to some sort of purist build. Winding up for what would usually be something of a counterattack, but this is just like a regular attack. So those zealots, well, that was, yeah, go tell your friends what happened here. Well, that didn't work. The old 4 zealot attack into their 4th build unfortunately comes up a bit short, but that War Prism existing is clearly buying some space. As Dark trying to figure out a way to get at it in that not really safe zone, but at least out of range of the Hydras and Queens. There's no infestation but on the way. There's no Spire, no Vipers, no Mutas to take it out, so should be safe for now. Maybe Corrosive Bow could hit it. Meanwhile, the Astrea Immortals, Templar, Archons, Charge Lots. What's not to love? No more of those weak Blink Stalkers who have already proven to not be up to the task of fighting against Dark directly. But Dark is maxed out. 8.5 minutes with Hydras. Not just that maxed Roaches, but instead a much more complex unit composition. And he's even got a Lurker Den on the way. Non-Hive Lurkers is almost offensive, even to Dark, as he gets the infestation bit. But here we go. 2-pronged attack. Stasis on the right flank. Force fields as well. Trying to zone some more of this out. Storms on the ramp. Soften up a lot of it. Funneled through the force field. Good micro from Astrea thus far. He has all his battle-made skills. There's the overcharge. Sentry's out of energy, but the core of Immortals is incredibly strong here. And the Templar are still very dangerous. The Zealots expendable on the front line to get better positions for the Templar. And Dark, it's not working. Like, Astrea killed twice as much, including 3 times as much gas. Definitely a victory for Astrea. Though not a decisive one. Dark pulled back before he lost a critical mass of units. Not going to risk Astrea counterattacking and potentially just taking a game right there. Opening up the map a bit. Archon pulls back. Obliterates 1 Roach. Zealots over to the left side. And to the north. The Warp Prism came back around. And gets another warp in the 4th base. Under attack. Here comes Dark Templar. The Storms zoning out on all sides. The Hydra Zergling's just on the base. He may just get it before Astrea cancels. No cancel. Bit of a mistake there, but Charge Lot's coming in. Astrea with the 2-prong counter. And there's not that many Hydras. He loses 2 or 3 of them to the Zealots right off the bat. Another attack. The hatchery will be sliced to pieces. The Phoenix simultaneously getting some Overlord pickoffs. War Prism is still alive. Astrea held the line against the Roaches and Hydras and strikes back with the Charge Lots and still has a Warp Prism to go straight for the heart of the swarm. Lurker Den is now upgrading range. There's a Zealot with... there's a drone with this army for some reason. They'll die like the rest of them. The Hydra is being cloven in twain by those Zealots. Oh my, so many Hydras are dying. 28 Hydras dead. It's impressive to make that many Hydras in the first 11 minutes of the game. And Dark has managed to lose him. Astrea just outmaneuvering. And now he's got a fleet beacon on the way. So he's looking for that late game tech to deal with things like Lurkers. He hasn't done critical damage to Dark, who still has 74 drones. He still has 4 bases. Astrea did lose his 4th Nexus. So, I think, the Queen's convening in the main base. I think they may have lost track of the War Prism. The Lurkers are on the way now. Astrea not able to capitalize on some form of map control. Not quite enough to just be running onto the creep, but enough to drive Dark back for a ton. Changeling's taken out. Fourth base, very important. Astrea cannot afford to lose this again. The Zealots very violently denying an additional expansion to the north side. And, well, never mind. In the main, the Roaches and Queens slurps up a few more of the Zealots. A double-pronged attack. Astrea with two very, very strong battle groups. But almost nothing back at home to defend against the counterattack. Astrea gonna try to do a dual-pronged base trade against the main brunt of Dark's force. The Queens feedback across the board. The self-esteem and hit points of those Queens obliterated. Regicide at the natural. The Observer will spot the Lurkers, but Lurkers on top of Astrea's third base, and his fourth base is being annexed as well. He recalls back on Tomai, the very, very dead Roaches. Where's his detection, though? Here come the Oracles. There's a revelation on top of pretty much all of the Lurkers. Great storms, but the Immortal count is thinning out drastically. He lost so many of them in this kind of disjointed attack. Oh no, one of the Lurkers wasn't hit by revelation. And suddenly Dark wins the game. Wow. Astrea just jumped off a cliff with his supply. It was all going so well. But it all falls apart so quickly. That kind of fast and loose style. Well, it brings us to our anti-spoiler bonus series, where we'll see, well, the best of America might not be enough, but how about Korea? We have Trap lined up in the next round of the Korean StarCraft 2 League. If you haven't supported it yet, if you got the means of motivation, you can check it out in the description. As well, that provides us some of these amazing games every week. And now we have another round as he graduates to, well, we'll see if he can bully another Protoss. Remember, Trap just recently 3-0'd Shin. And a lot of people will trash talk Shin, who's the fourth best Zerg player in the world right now. Dark, well, number 1 ranked by Dark, but number 3 ranked by most false and quantitative statistical sites. So just 1 rank above Shin. So what does he have on Trap? He's gone back and forth with him. I don't know why Zerg players keep doing this. I'm not saying he's a gold digger, but you're going to get cannon rushed. That is, everyone knows, both sides. Everyone knows the cannon rush is happening. It's some form of economic chicken here. Like, buy low, sell high with your cancels. Will he cancel? Oh my god, Dark. Well, Dark has twisted this sideways and all around and upside down, and so he finishes the gold. Dark now has the most random set of hatcheries, even for him. Trap is building a so Dark is playing some real. This is quite a poker game. He's gonna mine through there so that maybe the Zerglings. I don't know. Let's just let it play out. So Dark is doing a proxy hatch roach play. He gets Trap to commit to 2 cannons on the gold base. And now Trap has spent as much as Dark did on this hatchery. In fact, slightly more. Though, if you consider a drone being able to mine, don't worry about it. So... And then he scouts the proxy hatch. The fact that Trap kind of had this inclination... Well, Dark also did not have his natchery, so... What is this? What are you going? He's just gonna build roaches. I think, well, the Overlord knows that Trap scouted this as well. Dark's just doing a roach ling all-in with a forward. This is the equivalent of a Zerg proxy raxing 1 rax. Not all your racks, just 1. And then he's got like 2 at home. So now Trap has a forge, so we can build cannons. Right now, oh, he also used some of the larvae at the dying hatchery at the Gull. Okay. Well, did Trap overcommit to the defense? Or to the well, Dark's in. And by defense, I mean the cannon rush, which is the opposite of defense. Shield battery. Dead. There's not that many units left here. He's warping in some stalkers. This is quite a funnel. Is this working? It feels like Trap is stabilizing. He has 3 gates. He's getting another shield battery. There's an overcharge. He just kills the battery, which does solve that problem. But I think he held it. All right. Yeah, Dark thinks so too. Uh-huh. That was some 94 IQ gaming right there. But if it had worked, he would have looked like a genius. Well, it didn't work. It looked kind of dumb. But a lot of credit to Trap for kind of figuring that out so quickly. He committed to the 2 cannons, but he immediately scouted for other bases. He didn't just assume it was going to be some sort of half-assed, like 1 base roach hullin. No, it was a 2/3 assed 2 base proxy hatch. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, anyways, we're going back to Ghost River. Trap of 1-0 as Dark refuses to play normal on Alcyone. I feel sometimes he asks whether or not he could, and certainly never whether or not he should. And I'm here for it. Like and subscribe. Yeah, and I don't want to jinx, but I haven't heard any news. Dark implied heavily that he was going to retire and complete his obligatory military service, which most Koreans will do well before Dark's age, pushing the 30 mark. After the Esports World Cup, where he did get top 4, but he has not said anything to my knowledge, and I mean, he's still playing, so I'm not here to complain. I don't want to ask because I feel like that'll jinx it. So while we still have at least 1 Zerg player who regularly plays in these weekly tournaments, I'll be happy. Or at least succeeds. It's actually immensely hard. If you look at the rosters of the weekly tournaments, and the more, like, essentially anything but the largest prize pool, usually it's about 60% Protoss, 30% Terran, and Dark. Like, or Shin, occasionally Raynor. And that's about the list. Occasionally Raynor playing Protoss, though. So I'm hoping that doesn't dry up too soon. So Trap built a Twilight Council underneath the Overlord on the edge of the map. I don't know if he was trying to hide it. He's not upgrading anything. Which Dark is looking at like, what are you trying to hide? He's going to start Adept Glaives. It's just adept claims. This is all ready. Hey, Astrea versus Dark, a pretty formulaic, exciting, dramatic back and forth, but standard-ish series. Now it's Trap's turn to just kind of throw a build out there and see if it sticks. You only need one game. Glaive Adepts have gotten many a game in a one-off situation. So we will see. Roach Horns had a good time in order to defend. He should have more than enough roaches if he suspects this. I mean, the Twilight was first. He knows the Twilight was not... This is true. Write this down. Not a Stargate. So, not nearly as much focus on, you know, building spores or defending oracles, and a lot more focus on actually having a ground army. That doesn't mean the Glaive Adepts cannot do damage. Dark Shrine behind it. A bold move to build a shrine to your opponent in the middle of the game. But here we go. Spore Crawler's on the way as Dark certainly expects something like a DT follow-up. Trap may cancel it on seeing how prepared Dark is, but just having the DTs is your best defense against a counterattack. Say Dark holds this, which it looks like he will. He does not have a lair, which means there is no detection at all. So DTs are just effectively a free defense, like that campaign mission. There's the lair started, but Spore Crawlers? Wait, that campaign mission is called In Utter Darkness. Wait a second. Darkness? Alright, we need to simmer down. I'm losing it over here. Zerglings. That's what those are called. Whole bunch of Zerglings heading across the map. The Dark Templar, well, we may get to see him in action. Dark will not. He will be in the himself about them for quite a while yet. Yes, the lair is finishing up, but still far from done. And those Overseers are going to take quite a bit to come online. But Dark still has a very strong army he's rolling around with right now. That's a lot. 71 army supply. And he's building more and more of it. He has no intentions of following this up. It is an attack right here and right now. He's got the Overseer on the high ground, which I think Trap didn't realize because he didn't have high ground vision at that moment. Corrosive Biles just rain down and wipe out several Adepts. Trigger the barrier on the Immortal. The Cyber Core itself. Shield battery overcharge again. And he turns the gating. Oh my god! He's just annihilating him, melting him with the Corrosive Bile. And the Cyber Core will die. The shield battery's taken down. DTs are bullying a queen, but Dark with the classic, if your opponent's doing something weird, go fucking kill him strategy. And it appears he's doing it very well. The Immortals living up to their name so far, but I don't know how much longer they can accomplish that. Prep doesn't have a third. He's down 10 probes. The Immortals are juggling back. And this has been a bit of a circus build, but Dark just slaps him across the face with the Ravager Ling. And I don't think those DTs are going to do enough damage on the other side to keep us from heading to Game 3. GG. Dark strikes back. Well, I feel like Trap wanted to hide well, obviously he wanted to hide the Twilight, but Dark just kind of sent the Overlord through the base. A lot of players will poke in with the Overlord and pull back, but Dark called his bluff, and he sent the Overlord all the way through at the very start of the game. And Trap just kind of had to go through it, because you can't build a Twilight and then be like, haha, I went Stargate. It doesn't work like that. All right, you don't get a small loan of 1,000 Vespine gas from, I don't know, like the super ship that you found underneath your planet that's been lost for thousands of years. How convenient. A lot of lore references today. I don't know what's up with that. Trying to think. But it's hard. Okay. It happens. Why think hard when think easy, Dietrich? Probe. Flirting with the minerals. Drones will compete for their affections. Thousands of APM expended in making sure workers hold down the... Oh my god. So, we now know the repeat rate of Dark's keyboard, which is approximately 2,000 to 3,000 per minute. I don't know what that translates to per second. 30 or so. 40. Something like that. Not that it's important. But what he's doing is holding down the gather key in order to force the probe to stop mining those minerals, because it does kind of interrupt your mining. And if you do it perfectly with the probe, you can deny them dozens of minerals. It's more of a mental thing, but it's something. It's something to do when you are actually confident in your build back at home. He does stop the Natry. Dark forced to take the third. Stargate on the way. Back to the more standard playbook. Oracle is the choice. Let's like trap back to, well, he was actually one of the first players to popularize the treacle build. With 3 oracles early on, get a third base, and need almost no units on the ground to defend. It's only in the last couple years, which is a relatively short amount of time in the span of StarCraft 2, that players have followed it up with these heavy adept timings, like 4 to 7 or 8 adepts, in order to keep the pressure on the Zerg. It's always a bit of an arms race, a bit of a meta game. How many adepts, how much pressure you're going to put on. Same thing for the Zerg. Like, if you call their bluff, they don't build any adepts, and you just build 60 drones, you might get away with it and get way ahead. But if they build a bunch of adepts, commit, and you built, say, dozens of Zerglings, well, those adepts will die, and you will be very far behind. So it's a dance back and forth. Usually we find something of a middle ground. The Zerglings are chasing the Shades, which will not find a nice spot tucked into the minerals. As Trap was looking at his Oracle on the other side of the map, I believe. Another Oracle comes up and gets both adepts. Well, relatively cheap. Many of those Zerglings bruised, but not killed off. Dark just slaps down a Laird as third, because why not? Probably the most convenient base right now. Oracle. Beat me. Already chased out. Another Queen. Oracle has a total of 3 kills, and will be the 4th one itself if it's not careful. Twilight Forge. And there's on the way. We established that, but it continues to be on the way as the Zerglings will catch and kill at least one adept, get both. And he lights up both Oracles, which drains a ton of their energy. Just activating them. Just like your mom said, don't be flicking the lights on and off. It costs 25 energy apiece, and then the Zerglings are going to get in and murder all your siblings. Even the ones you like. Everyone had someone who said that, right? Nidus Network is on the way. The first one we've seen today out of Dark. And considering this is the 5th game, that is an impressively low ratio for him. But the Queens are congregating, getting their last smoke break in. And then Dark decides he doesn't want to do... Wait, did the Nidus get spotted and he just faked him out? Because Trap is currently building multiple cannons and shield batteries like he's about to get all in. But Dark built double Evo. He does a huge swerve And it looks like he's going towards Infestation Pit. Possibly, probably Swarm Host, as it will be quite a reach to go straight to Hive at this stage. I'd love to see an Ultra... it feels like one of those days where Dark just does what he wants. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always entertaining. Oh my god! He just builds a Hive! It's at his third! And Trap saw it the moment it started. So what are you gonna do about it? Is this a Ultralisk rush? I guess Adrenal Glands. Some real shit. He's building 2 more hatcheries. 72 drones on the field. He's taking advantage of how defensive. Trap knows how much Dark loves his Night Assault. So Trap took it very seriously. Even the implication. It was the implication that was dangerous. Now, that wasn't a Nidus. Was never a Nidus. The queens were not in the base. But the implication is that the queens could be in the base. We're not gonna hurt those probes, right? No, of course not, Susan. But the implication. You never, like, the Nidus could be anywhere. I'm just, you're never safe. Build a cannon. But, Susan, that sounds very mean. It's the implication. I don't, sorry. Adrenal Glands. Are you... He's just gonna go Massling Bane. With Hive Tech. And an Ultra Cavern. Okay, we get the Ultra. When trapped very late on that robotics facility, as he thought he was dealing with some sort of Queen Roach all-in, but instead, Dark has swerved into straight-up Hive Tech. One of the few scenarios... Like, his economy is really good. Trap has not been able to put on any real pressure because he's been too busy worrying about what Dark's gonna do to him. 40 more Zerglings. He's got 110 Zerglings. All right. There's Colossi on the way as Trap is reaching for anything that might help him with this swarm of Zerglings. But Colossi not so great against upgraded Ultralisks. Wow. And Dark with a perfectly solid economy. Trap. This is what happens if you play pure defense. Well, there's not a small chance Trap defends, but the thing is, Dark doesn't... He's not missing any steps of this. Maybe Vipers. Maybe a couple Vipers would be helpful, but are they even necessary? The Zerglings! Running over some of the cannons, softening up the defenses for, well, when Daddy comes home. The Ultras are on the field. 2-2 is still only halfway done. Mass Zergling drop. Lings and Banes to the south. Overlord drop to the north. Lings outside the third. And the Ultra's ready for the follow-up back at home. Oracle's patting itself on the back with that revelation. The drop is loaded up. Adrenal Glands very much done. Zerglings gonna try to chase down. He's thinking about chasing down the Colossi. Banelings rolling in first. Already softened up a bunch of the probes. Banelings, very good stasis. Ultra's looking for an opportunity, but the drop in the main base. So far, Trap doing a great job deflecting all these attacks, but the Ultras cleave through an Immortal. The Zerglings are picked back up into the Overlords. 14 probes dead, but not a critical blow. A refill comes out, though. Oh, no! The stasis just delayed the inevitable. 34 probes now, and that is real damage. It's a disaster for Trap. Oh, no! He stalled the Banelings, and it just made them more dangerous. Now the Nexus just dies, shredded by the Zerglings. More Zerglings at the natural. And Trap has gone from a tenuous defense to a desperate, nearly all-in set. 48 probes! The main base is gone! And Dark still has 100 Zerglings on the field. Is he dead already? He's gonna try to come across the map, but Dark is rebuilding his campaign Zerg. There's a legitimate chance he could kill all the buildings before Trap makes any progress on the other side of the map. With these sort of units, Ultras and Zerglings with Adrenal Gland, GG! He's just dead! Oh my god! He just walked up and killed him. Didn't walk, he used pretty much every other method but walking, but... Alright, well, it appears Dark had a game to burn on whatever that proxy hatch tomfoolery was, as he follows it up with a devastating Ultralisk rush after Trap panics and tries to defend against the Nidus. Dark again, with the mind games, just outclassing Astrea and outplaying Trap. A solid day for the final boss. And hopefully, it made yours a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. And also, the Korean StarCraft 2 League. But thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, as well, if you're interested in more. Hope I made your day just a little bit better. Be awesome if you could like and subscribe if you made it to the very end and you're hearing the outro bit and you're tuning out. Well, that'd be great. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.